math and drugs don't mix. Relationships and drugs don't mix. Both my parents were addicts, and I just started getting into drugs in school. I guess that was my way to fit in. It started off good and fun and just ended up becoming something that controlled my life and kept me from my passions. Like, I had a really terrible bowl cut, and I was an awkward kid. Friends that I had like older brothers and sisters that had like access to drugs and alcohol, and I started selling like drugs in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and got expelled from high school. And it's weird because I feel like a lot of my childhood is like this empty space in my memory. Like, I don't feel like I actually have very many tangible memories of my childhood. Probably the drugs didn't help, and I think I blocked some of it out. And they started when I was 5, so it wasn't like from the day I was born or whatever. They started when I was 5, and they had this big house, and they divorced a couple years later. And when I was 7, and they were like in the thick of it, and we jumped from like little crack house to crack house. And I remember, sleeping on the couch, like, and like weird people coming in and out, and just being pissed off because I felt like they weren't parenting. Like, they'd be gone for periods at a time. Like, my mom had like addict, abusive boyfriends, and my dad, he would like piss and shit on himself and like my mom would kick him out of the house. They'd scream all the time, whatever. Just like, okay, I'd like to amend all this though, as like, one of the things that I'm most grateful for about being an addict is like being able to understand my parents. Like, I used to really resent them, and now I feel like they just were powerless over their addiction, and like, I love them and understand them and know that they were just trying to do their best with the situation that they had. I remember the first time I smoked weed, I was pretty like anxious. Eventually it just became like social and fun. The first time I drank, I had gone to a trip to see my sister in Hawaii, and her fiance's sons, which were like later high school, and I was like going into middle school, and they had taken me to a party, and I was like, yeah, I've drank before, like lying to him. And a guy like gives me a bunch of shots, and he's like, wow, you're really handling these well, and just like handing them to me. I like threw up all over this random guy's like living room carpet. But I really just remember loving the ease and like of it all, I think though it was mainly like, my main motivation was just to like have cool friends and fit in, at first, and then it led into more. Like, MDMA was what really made me have that feeling where I was like, oh fuck, this is it, I'm gonna do this every day for the rest of my life. Well, I had a dad who liked math, and so he would teach me cool things like finding the area of the circle when I was like in 1st grade or whatever. And then I'd go tell the kids, after in the after school program, like, look at this cool thing, and then it ended up being like, I had a good teacher in middle school, a good teacher in high school, that also were like parental figures too, because I had like the fucked up parents. And then I found my best friend freshman year of high school, and he also loved like the math and physics. And so we'd sit in our room and get fucked up and watch math videos. It can be beautiful and creative, it's not just like the stuff you learn in high school. Doing drugs has made me be unable to do math effectively and my passions, so that's one of my main reasons for wanting to get sober. Is there's like two conflicting like sides, like one that just wants like pleasure and instant gratification and loves drugs, and another side that like wants to be cool, basically just wants to like learn all the cool math things that I can. And I think also what it's done is it's made me feel like an imposter to some degree too, because like when I went to college, there were guys that would like work on their passions 8 hours a day or whatever, or 6 hours or inconsistently, and it just ended up being something that like I could do drugs and passively consume like math content, a lecture or whatever, but I wouldn't like go out and like write some proofs or something like that, or write a program. And that like kept me from actually like moving farther in the field. I dropped out of college, you know, I wouldn't do the thing that I loved for months at a time because I was fucked off, you know. So it's like something that I like, but haven't really fully delved into it because of my addiction to drugs, which makes me sad. And then I say, oh, I like math, but it's like I've been fucked up and not necessarily doing math. It was a problem before I realized it was a problem, because like I had lost and cheated on all my relationships. Like I think probably when I like dropped out of college and then soon after like turned 21 and lived across the way from like a liquor store and would drink every day as I thought it was fun. I was like, oh, you know, like I'm gonna try a new kind of 6-pack, you know, of beer, different IPA every day or something like that. And it wasn't like I stopped and I realized I had withdrawals. I was like, oh shit, like if I don't drink every 4 hours, like I will start to shake and feel disgusting, and like laid on the floor and like shook my life away at one point until I got some alcohol in me. I went to a detox soon after that, and as soon as I walked out of the detox, I walked across the street to a liquor store. Like I didn't have any intention to get sober, just to like get rid of the withdrawal symptoms. I really had enough actually after my last girlfriend. I cheated on my last girlfriend and really affected her, and it kind of fucked me up, kind of, because I cared about this person, but I got to like see in real time the consequence of my actions. It wasn't necessarily the withdrawals. I would just keep kind of drinking through them, even though they got like so bad that I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night and like grab my shot underneath my pillow. The way that my addiction has gone is my periods of sobriety have gotten longer and my relapses have gotten shorter. Go to a detox and then relapse, go to another detox, relapse, go to a 30-day program, relapse after a month. My sister convinced me that this place is amazing, and I'm so happy I listened to her. My sister came here actually 6 years ago, and she's 6 years sober, so this helped her. We're actually thinking about getting my mom in here, like after I leave. I have the whole family of Shupanites. This feels really weird to say at 25, but I feel like I'm like just learning that there's like a intuitive moral compass that I can listen to rather than like my selfish, impulsive, like loud part of my brain. Like healing isn't getting rid of feelings of guilt and rejection and discomfort. It's creating enough space within you to hold those feelings as they are and not push them away with distraction or some narrative you have in your head, and not letting them affect you, letting you feel them, but not letting you like move you. When I first got here, I was welcomed in by 20 residents, you know, shook my hand. Another 20 residents shook my hand the next day. I've rock climbed, golfed, surfed, hiked, like since I've been here, which like no other rehab lets you do. I really, really like the spiritual side. Like I like that there's a spiritual advisor. Also just like seeing an example of like a healthy community. I want to dance with my neighbors.
What do you think is next for you?
I'm gonna go join the Hare Krishna temple. I'll have a shaved head. They have a little rat tail, and I have to be celibate, so the rat tail will help. No meat, no like electronic entertainment. I have to sleep on a yoga mat, but I get to find contentment without reference to external things, I think is the main goal. And it's a sober community. It's close to Beit. They're going to let me come for Shabbat. They're cool people. There's a lot of dancing. Do the Swami step. So it worked out. And then me and my best friend want to live in a truck and a trailer and travel the US and then meet like mathematicians we admire. I've never experienced a recovery place like this, and I've been to like 12 recoveries before this. Giving Beit Teshuvah the ability to help more people would be like a gift to this world. I wish that everyone in recovery could experience like something like this. And the weird thing about it is it's got like this juice that's like persisted only within the community, you know? Like if a bunch of people came in here that like were angry and bitter, like I feel like they could be transmuted into someone who's like happy and feels love. Actually dance at Shabbat. Dance at Shabbat. That's what I want the residents to do. That's my message. Let loose, have no inhibitions, dance at Shabbat. You know, we're supposed to be changing into new people, do something different.